welcome to Ready Moveset Go episode 9. As always, I'm your host, John Room 100. Joining me today, we have PK King 544.
Hello.
PizzaDudeManGuy.
Hey.
NantenJex.
Hello.
And our special guest for today, FeliciaFan.
Hi there.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, it's very, very nice to have you. It's always fun having guests on, especially having 5 of us here, because we're a very rowdy crowd.
Full room again.
Yeah.
We're all here.
For all room 100.
Room 5. Eventually
Full
we'll have
room
100
5.
guests in one episode.
All of us giving an individual character take.
Yeah.
Let's make a whole new
guest
roster,
ever.
guys.
Layer the audio on top of each other 20 times and you'll have room 100.
Yeah, there we go.
Just an
As
echo.
well as the last episode of the show, because no one will watch it after that.
Hey, you've peaked there. You've hit the goal. There's no reason to
I've
watch
peaked
after
in
that.
many ways, including the audio channel. So, for the theme for this episode, when this comes out, it's going to be just a few days before Valentine's Day.
Nice.
All about showing appreciation for someone you love. And what better sign of appreciation could you give to someone than upgrading them to a playable character in Smash? So,
Oh, that was creative.
thanks. I had to think of that like as soon as we discussed this theme.
There we
So, what we're doing today is taking assist trophies from any of the Smash games and upgrade them to full playable characters, which is kind of an interesting theme just because usually it's extremely broad, but we wind up with only a few really good choices. Here we have like a smaller number of characters to choose from, but there's still like 50, 60 characters who we could go with. So definitely curious to see who everyone picked. And our order for this episode is going to be me, FeliciaFan, Nanten, and Pizza Dude, with PK just adding some supportive commentary.
Cheering on from the sidelines.
Emotional support.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You need it.
Yeah.
All right. Is everyone good to go?
Yeah.
Good to
Yep.
go.
I'm ready.
All right. So, for me to kick things off, there's like 2 to 3 characters who I gravitated towards right away. I tried to go off of games that I actually had some kind of interest in, obviously. And if they hadn't been upgraded to an Echo Fighter, I probably would have done Dark Samus. I considered doing Dark Samus anyway, just to like sneakily
A unique
break
one.
the rules. Yeah, like a fully unique Dark Samus.
Break
But-
the rules right from the start.
yeah, so I figured that would be inappropriate for the host. Instead, I narrowed it down from 2 from there, and my ultimate choice was the Squid sisters.
Nice.
Okay.
So obviously they had just joined Smash as an assist trophy in Ultimate, and their whole gimmick is they pop down on a stage and start to shrink the camera and the blast zones closer. And in Splatoon themselves, they are not only pop stars who have a big musical act and also announced stuff like the stages and Splatfest, but they are also secret agents. So I figured they would fit the bill for a playable fighter pretty well. Their gimmick is similar to some of the other duo characters, but a bit different. So, Ice Climbers, you basically have 2 of the same characters. You only control 1. Banjo and Duck Hunt, that it basically feels like one character. You're just using another as like an extension of yourself. Rosalina and Luma is also very similar to that. And Pokemon Trainer, sure, you can play as these different characters, but they're never on the stage at the same time. With Callie and Marie, you have them both on stage at the same time. While you're controlling one, the other is a CPU that is assisting you and following you. But you can also switch between them.
Oh.
And they have a lot of similar moves, but the main gimmick between them is kind of a shoddy snipes dynamic. So with Callie, which if you're only like tangentially familiar, Callie is the one with the black hair and the pink.
Yeah, she's the better one.
Yeah, I agree.
Strong disagree, but okay.
I'm going to start that argument. Anyways.
I don't know. Lost the Splatfest.
I know. Yeah, unjustly.
Anyway, so Callie, yeah, much more of like a high energy, in your face kind of personality. So that lends itself to being a more close-up fighter, being a little faster and more aggressive and dealing damage quicker. While with Marie, is a little more laid back and chill. So Marie is more of the ranged fighter, slower and can deal ultimately higher damage, but needs to keep her distance, and it's not quite as fast. So what you get with the inverse of that is while you're playing as Callie, Marie sits a little farther behind, like definitely trails farther than with Ice Climbers, which means that she's good at helping keep enemies interrupted so you don't get hit, but it's way easier to separate you and just ultimately make you deal less damage. While you're playing as Marie, Callie stays pretty close to you, so you get to rack up even more damage, but it's easier to hit both of you, which in the long run could be bad for getting these characters knocked out. Like with Ice Climbers, damage does stay individual, which gets a little bit trickier now that you're switching back and forth. Like I said, the Squid Sisters do travel a little bit farther than Ice Climbers to make up for the fact that they're a little more powerful and have more unique aspects. So if you're fighting these two, you are a little more able to separate them, but if you start to get separated, you can always switch to the other one, and then you're just fighting the player again. So I'll get to that a little more in a second once I get to the moveset.
Okay.
So in terms of the majority of the moveset, a lot of it is built around dance and performance types of moves, which feels a little bit like it should fit into the music episode we did.
Oh yeah.
But so it's kind of a mix of like moves where they will do like a big kind of like flourish in one direction versus like down smash. They would both kind of like stomp out and do a little like low hand cut in both directions. So I think it's just kind of like learning what direction those kind of moves go in. And then you save their more Splatoon weaponry, stuff like that for the specials. But I decided that you do keep the inkling mechanics. Inking your foes helps, and you do need the shield bead to recover ink, but only your specials really use ink, so it becomes a little less important. And in general, my way to make them distinct from the Inkling is because they're an avatar character, they have that kind of like master of all weapons thing where they're just pulling a bunch of different guns out for different attacks. But since these two have a bit more of a set personality, I wanted them to really only have like a main gun and their sub weapon and have to work through that. So just to jump right into the specials, Neutral B is their primary weapon. So for Callie, that is the Hero Blaster, which isn't technically a gun. It's based off of the Rapid Blaster. And so what that does is it shoots like a big bubble about every second or so if you're holding the button. It doesn't travel really far, but it's kind of like a shotgun in that if the closer they are to the initial shot, they can just take a ton of damage. And especially if you can keep them close to you while you're rapid firing, that's a really easy way to rack it up. And then primary fire for Marie is the Hero Charger, which she does actually have in the games, which is just a sniper gun. If you tap it, it shoots a weak blast of ink with an okay range, but you can hold it and release it for a really long-reaching sniper shot. Side B is their sub-weapon. For Callie, that's the Sprinkler. You throw it onto the floor or onto a wall, and it just sprays ink all around for like 7 or 8 seconds. I figured that fit her personality of just like, again, more just constant stuff happening all at the time. And then for Marie, she can drop the Splash Wall, which you throw down in front of you, and any kind of like projectiles won't go through it. Ink can go through it, so it just blocks projectiles and it will break in a few hits, but it's just a good way to keep spacing between you and enemies, because if they try to walk through it, they will take a little bit of damage but be completely covered in ink. So it's a good way to just kind of keep people away from you. The other specials are a lot more basic. Up B is the twin super jump, so just like Inkling, and then down B is the switch button. I've had people, I've done movesets before where people said you can relegate switch to shield B, but I'm pretty sure that doesn't work in the air. So I on top of that, I also have the excuse that we need shield B to recharge the ink.
Yeah, I was going to say here, you need that anyway. So.
Yeah, so it works out. And, you know, it limits the moveset a little bit, but I think already, like, juggling, basically having 2 playable characters on stage at once, I feel like that's okay.
Yeah, it doesn't sound like it's limiting the moveset, to be honest. There's already a lot going on.
Yeah. And then for the final smash, it's called Splatfest. So it's very similar to their assist trophy. They jump onto a stage and the camera and the blast students start to zoom in. The only difference is based on whatever palette swaps that you're using at the time. It'll be like there is a big Splatfest fight happening off screen. So the two colors of ink will just start blasting and like raining down on the stage and hitting enemies while the screen is closing in as just like an even better way to make sure that you're getting kills off of that.
Heck yeah.
All right.
So that's the majority of the moveset. Obviously, there's tons of palette swap options from the Splatfests. A bunch of great victory screens, like being on a stage or doing the daily report. And yeah, I just thought they were a fun option.
Yeah.
Hey.
So they're basically like unique characters who can swap between the two, like a transformation, but both are on the stage at once.
Well, so their neutral and their side specials are different because that's their primary weapon, which is the shotgun and sniper difference. And then they have their sub weapon. One is the sprinkler, one is the splash wall. But besides that, they are pretty much similar except for stats, I would say.
Yeah. So they're kind of like semi-clones of each other, but
Yeah.
I mean, you play as them both at the same time and they transform between the two,
Yeah, so I mean,
essentially.
so yeah, and they have their own damage. So like, so I guess the kind of trade-off is like if you've been playing as Callie the whole time, you take a ton of damage. You switch over to Marie, so that you can live longer. But then that makes a big part, like not only your backup, but a big source of additional damage. Like if the person you're fighting separates you and kills Callie, then like you've just made it super easy for them because you've done nothing but rack up damage for them.
Oh, that's a good. I
Okay.
guess that's actually a good
like
point.
that.
So they both have their own percentage health thing. They don't share it.
No, yeah, and that's the only difficult part that I, for some reason, didn't really think of is what the kill condition is. Like, I guess they have to kill the
Like, do they have to kill both of them, or is one good enough for a stock kill?
Yeah, that's the only difficulty, and it's something that I've run into in another moveset of mine.
I would guess that you would have to kill the primary one. So my guess for that would be you can't swap between the two unless they're next to each other. So like you can't just like if you're playing as Callie and you're about to fall off and Marie's on the stage, you can't just swap to Marie and save yourself that way. However, like you only get a stock if you're the primary one gets swapped out. So if you're playing as Marie and they take Callie out, you know, like how the ice climbers work, then you still get to live, but you just can't swap until you die. Basically,
That makes sense.
That's the way I would.
There's a
do
lot
it.
of solutions that you could use, but I mean, yeah, that's a balance thing, and there's lots of different ways you could solve that problem.
Yeah.
I think if not standing next to each other, maybe there could just be a range like that they would have to communicate in, because that way if you're getting like rocked on the other side of the stage, you can't like you said, you can't just sneak over.
Yeah, be within like a bubble that you can't actually see, but the game knows. And if they're within that distance with each other, you can swap between the two.
Yeah, you could have like a little radio icon near your character portrait that like is dim when you're too far away, and then is lit up when you're close enough, something like that.
I'm kind of interested. So if say the Nana and say you're playing as Callie, so it'd be Marie, and Marie gets hit by opponents. If you swap to her, would her percentage have gone up? Like, does the damage actually stay?
Yes.
It does. That's a really interesting take on it, because you could you could be doing really well as Callie and then swap to Marie and realize, oh no, she's got loads of damage.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to like make with this is like it's in some ways it's good that you can play as both just because you have a couple more moveset options. I have just like more control over the two characters in general, but that also means that like, you know, when you're playing Ice Climbers, if Nana starts getting beat up, it's like it kind of hurts you, and it obviously hurts you if Nana gets completely KO'd. But for this, it's like you have to juggle these two characters in a way. It's like, I guess it's like a risk reward kind of thing compared to some of the other duo characters.
Yeah. Overall, it has a lot of concepts I like. I like the idea of a new type of dual character. I always like the idea of characters that use dance moves as their fighting moves. I like the idea of taking like an already somewhat existing gimmick in Smash Brothers, but then like making it for a different character, because that's something we don't see much. You would be cool is if the final Smash like randomly did one of several different songs.
Yeah, for sure.
That'd be neat.
Yeah, I think they already do that with the assist trophy. I know there's
think
like
so.
I think it's
incantation
just
and a
between
couple
two, I think.
Okay.
Like, if it's not just incantation, there's only one other choice that it can have.
But yeah, for sure you can have that. I don't really know what, because they added a bunch of Splatoon music with Inkling, so I don't really know if there's a lot more to add unless they, sneak Splatoon 3 on us. But,
I mean, if it's Splatfest, I guess they do the Splatfest variants of some of the songs. If
That's
what
true.
the Found of Smash is, so...
Yeah, that would be fun. We could just steal a page from the music episode once again and have them perform a Splatoon version of like whatever stage theme that they're on.
Yeah, they just sing whatever song is actually playing, but just in the Squid language.
Yeah.
That's a lot of music.
My only sort of thing, and maybe I could be wrong about this, but my only like slight thing is I think Callie uses like a roller mainly, and not really like a shotgun.
I'm not sure. From what I could, and believe me, I looked as much as I could because I was like, because I knew I knew Marie used the hero charger.
Yeah.
That was like the most explicit because she
That was like in the
spoilers,
story
I guess.
mode.
She
Yeah.
saves Marie with it in Splatoon 2.
Yeah.
So like
I haven't played
I
the
knew that
story
one.
mode yet.
I haven't even bought the game yet.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
It's very fun. But yeah, so that one I was sure of, and so just based off of that and their personalities, I was like, surely Callie uses some kind of close-up weapon, and I just wanted to make sure it was something that we didn't see in Inkling's moveset, and the roller is such a big part of that.
Fair enough. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
good point.
So
yeah.
that's where the struggle came in a little bit. So I used the hero blaster, which like I think the up smash is some form of the blaster for Inkling, but in this it's like an actual weapon that you could shoot, and I think it would be like Banjo where you can hold B and move around.
Okay.
Okay.
You couldn't do that for Marie. The Marie would be you stand still and charge it because it's a sniper rifle basically.
I've always wanted a sniper rifle in Smash, so that idea makes me very happy.
Yeah, we've brought it up a few times. I feel like at some point we just need to do like a snipers episode.
Trying to find a bit of variation on that might be.
Yeah, but yeah. So I mean I didn't fully fill out a lot of like the specific dance moves. There's so much that you can take from like not like from them in the game and also like their real life concerts.
Yeah,
like the dance
exactly.
moves they do.
Yeah.
So there's a lot that you could do with it. But yeah, in general, just like individual, like as a group, they can definitely do more damage than Inkling. But as individuals, they're a little bit weaker, obviously, to try to balance that out. But yeah, that was my pick.
I
like it.
Good job.
Very
Yeah.
nice.
That would bring us next to FeliciaFan.
Oh God.
It's time.
Yeah. So there are a lot of really great choices when it comes to deciding an assist trophy character, specifically because the game basically gives you an idea of how they could play for you majority of the time. But I was looking at all these characters, and I looked at one specifically that would offer the most, in my opinion, the most unique kind of different playstyle that we don't have in Smash as of right now. So my choice, the first choice that I went with was Krystal from Star Fox.
Okay.
And I'm going to say this right now. I am terrible at ad-libbing explanations, at descriptions. I am the last person you would ever want to play charades with. So to help me out, I have essentially drawn up a couple of sketches and one fully drawn concept idea I had for a design.
Oh, hell yeah.
Okay.
And
Nice.
basically the design for this is, what if Krystal from Adventures decided that her outfit in Assault was basically something she had before?
So
All
like
right.
the assault look, but the adventures with the adventures staff
Yeah.
sort of thing, or yeah.
and a bit of
I like that
command
idea.
mixed in, even though I'd kind of prefer if that game stayed buried.
There's a few references to all of her appearances, you know. I think that's fair.
Yeah,
I think
makes
that's what the other
sense.
Star Fox characters sort of do in Brawl, at least.
Yeah.
But yeah, she would fight with her staff. And when designing a moveset for her, I essentially wanted to double down on one part of the character's aspect that Smash showed off, and that's the fact that the staff uses ice. I know the staff can use fire, But we're doing the opposite of how they developed Samus and ignoring the fire, going with the ice.
There we go. Yeah.
It's good to have more ice users in the game, that's for sure.
Yeah.
She doesn't exactly have a character mechanic per se. She more has a new type of visual flair that I came up with, and essentially what happens is, for moves like her smash attacks, when the tip of her staff will like freeze into like a blade of ice.
Ooh.
To deal like extra damage. So I guess she's both a spear and a staff character mixed into one with a design like that. Her standard special would be her standard Ice Blast, where she stands in one spot and sprays the opponent with a rapid hitting wave of ice. It doesn't freeze right away, but if you stand in it for too long, it'll freeze you basically like the Ice Climbers' down B.
Yeah.
All right.
It basically has a win box, does very low knockback. For her other specials, I came up with completely unique moves.
Oh, right, okay.
It's basically taking what she could do already and just using them for different means. For example, her side special is called Raptor Bite. Tried not to make it sound too much like Captain Falcon side B, but essentially, what she does with this is she uses the jet within her staff to jet forward, and like a frozen ice raptor head forms on the tip of her staff. Oh. And basically, this is a multi-charge dash that can either work like the Star Fox character's standard side B, where they do a quick zoom, or she can charge it and basically it turns into like a flare blitz. And when she hits the opponent, the ice on the tip of the staff will shatter, but only
Does that do a bit of extra damage?
Yes, which is why it only shatters when she charges it up fully. Her up special would of course be Rocket Blast, but I designed it a little bit differently. You're gonna have to excuse me. This file is 25 megs. Thank God I have Discord Nitro.
Free advertisement.
It basically works a lot like Palutena's custom special from Smash 4, where after a brief charge period, she would fly upwards. And if she uses this in the air and you're beneath her, she will be able to meteor smash anybody that is standing directly below her. However, if you push the B button again while in the air, she'll do a diving charge with her staff, and when she hits the ground, she'll emit a wave of ice. In the vein of the other Star Fox characters having their special moves be named Firefox, Firebird, I almost said Falcon, Firewolf, this one is called Ice Krystal.
That sounds cool too. Ice Crystal.
And for her down special, it would be the force field that you can project in Star Fox Adventures.
Yeah.
But instead of it being like a shield above you, she holds it out in front of her, like an actual reflector. Unlike the other reflectors, you don't need to hold the button in order to have her hold this stance. She will hold this stance until you move the control stick. And the reason why she holds it normally without holding the button is because if you push the B button again when the shield is active, she'll freeze the barrier and launch it forward as a projectile.
Oh.
Nice.
It loses its ability to reflect after it's been frozen, but it essentially is just like a giant wall that opponents have to either dodge or shield.
I like that. Is it more of like a damage dealing thing or more of like a straight up push?
It would deal damage.
Okay.
It's basically like, get off me. Don't stand too close to me. And her final smash, I was going to design in the same vein as the other Star Fox characters, where instead of getting out R-Wing, she'd get on like a Cloud Runner.
Yeah.
But I went with something more akin to the ending of Star Fox Adventures, and it's called Will of the Krazoa. Ooh. She'll freeze her opponent in a massive block of ice similar in shape to the crystal she was trapped in Star Fox Adventures, and she will summon forth the Krazoa spirits who will basically bombard the caught opponent with psionic energy until the block shatters and it launches them away.
Dang, that's cool.
Oh.
Yeah, that's a cool visual.
That's mainly her. I didn't really come up with a lot of what her normals would be.
Yeah, we don't usually do a lot of that.
Trust me, you're
a
good.
lot of them are usually just hitting stuff with people.
I feel that since Namco has helped developing this game, I feel that she would pull at least a little bit from Killick from Soul Calibur. I imagine she'd be a very acrobatic fighter, very fast, decently light. I think she'd be slightly heavier than Falco, but I don't think she'd be as heavy as Wolf.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's my design for Krystal.
Cool.
Damn. very, very nice.
Krystal's a great one. Definitely a pretty highly requested one of the assist trophies. I feel like you fell into some of our past episodes. You got the spear user, you got the ice user. You're tying it all, doing catch up all into one. But yeah, no, that's really cool. It's a lot of like moves that are pulled from other fighters, but just done in a very unique way, like the up B and the way that the reflector works, the way that like side B, anything like that. It's very, very cool. Does Krystal do anything as an assist trophy besides the freezing?
She does like a staff combo.
Yeah.
She does like a 3-hit staff combo. I think that's it.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay.
We like a jab. I'm wondering from these just for the up special. Obviously, she goes up and then comes back down again. There's that move in Star Fox Adventures, I think, which is like the Quake or something, where...
Oh, I should have mentioned, yeah, basically if she uses it on the ground, it basically creates like a shockwave.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering. That would be like an extra addition onto there, because if I'm remembering correctly, the staff actually doesn't have that much. You got fire, ice, quake, force field, and then
rocket.
A bunch of other miscellaneous stuff like disguising yourself or opening teleports, which wouldn't really fit into Smash.
I think this disguise could be a great taunt.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love that idea for a taunt. I've used it a couple times.
Just spin it and become General Scales for a few seconds.
But then you don't get to do anything, just like the real General Scales.
No, it just goes. But no, I quite like a lot of it. I like how you've got. It's not too. It's obviously very different from all the other Star Fox characters. But you've also gone to some lengths to make it still feel a bit like Star Fox, especially with the side B and the neutral B is shooting out ice instead of shooting out a laser.
Yeah.
But like the way you
down B is still a reflector.
Yeah,
of some
down
kind.
B is still a reflector of some
I felt
kind.
that was very important.
Yeah, side B still kind of moves.
It's like a series identity for them in Smash at this point.
Yeah. So I like how you've naturally put the two together, which is really cool.
I think it's super well done. It has a lot of elements of the, abilities from Star Fox Adventures, but also just like dinosaur stuff too. So that's neat with the side B. And then, oh man, I just love the final smash because I always think of the Cloud Runner thing, but that's just I like the idea that they could trap him in the crystal that she was in, and it's really well done.
It combines a lot of ideas very well, very seamlessly.
No, thank you.
I think the reflector is probably my favorite part because having a unique reflector is kind of refreshing after a bit. And if it's only in front of you, then there's some easy counterplay. But then also you can just turn it into a projectile. And she already has a lot of range. So giving her a projectile that still kind of takes a second to set up and is pretty linear but still huge. I think that's perfect. It's amazing.
But also, to be fair, I wouldn't mind if when you fired it, it still acted as a reflector.
Oh god,
I do like the concept of
a projectile that is
Sean is
also
playing with fire.
A reflecting projectile.
I don't know how I feel about that. I just want to imagine the projectile the size of Villager's tree traveling at you.
Yeah.
It also reflects projectiles.
He's just running behind it. What if they hit each other? What if there was two? What happens then?
That's a very dangerous thing.
They reflect each other.
It's a very dangerous thing for the villager to grab.
Oh. That's a good point.
I'm all about chaos.
Don't nerf characters, just buff everyone.
There you go.
Exactly.
There you go.
Yeah. Everyone's a boss.
To be fair, going from, especially looking at the movesets, going from Smash 4 to Ultimate, they were it's the longest range in the game. It's the strongest. They were
Every character just gets longer and longer.
Yeah, it's like oh, we've got Shulk. Oh, we've got Simon Belmont. Oh, we've got Min.
Yeah.
Oh my god. And then Sephiroth over here.
Yeah, that's right.
Anyway.
Yeah.
And then Rayman's gonna come out and his arms are gonna be long.
There we go. Yeah.
This fighter's pass has literally been social distancing. The fighter's pass.
And they're gonna add some some
Steve blocking everyone away.
They're gonna add some psychic character who just has an infinite range, just always hits you no matter where you are because it's attacking you mentally.
Yeah.
God. Right, so I'm up next.
Yes, there we go.
Yes, you are.
Yes.
So, I wanted to go for a character that was more unusual, or at least one that I didn't think anyone else would go for. Because it's really easy, I thought, to make movesets around characters like Takamaru or Isaac or something. Originally, I was going to go for Dr. Kawashima, but then I thought that might be too far, and I couldn't be bothered to do all the research into brain training that I would need to come up with a moveset for. But then I had a pretty good idea. A character that I think... A character that everyone knows. A character that is popular. Probably more well-known than most characters on the Smash roster, but also not a character that people instantly jump to for the playable role. And that was the Hammer Brother.
Nice.
Oh.
Yeah.
So... Alts were a really easy one. Hammer Bro is obviously the default green, and then you got Boomerang Bro, Fire Bro, Army Hammer Bro, Ice Bro, Gold Bro. You got various different colors. That's
All the bros.
simple. All the bros.
Yeah.
But one thing I wanted to do with this is only stick with the hammer stuff. I did initially consider having it be a complete bro thing where you can use the boomerang and the fireballs and the ice balls. But when I started putting it together, I was like, well, there's actually not enough specials to include them all, and which ones do I cut?
Right.
And I felt like the hammer obviously had to be part of it, part of his specials. So I ended up deciding, actually, you know what, I'm going to stick with just the hammer stuff. And so a lot of his neutral specials are just various ways of using the hammer to smack people around with, charging it up, or going for swings, a jab combo. Something like Mario in his forward area will be something like Mario's punch, but the hammer goes around and then he spins around. Kind of like Bowser Jr.'s thing when he's up in the air after you launch him.
Yeah.
And you can then hit people with a hammer, like sort of like that as his neutral aerial. So that was all pretty fun. But then for the specials, so the neutral B had to be the hammer throw.
Yeah, thank you.
The classic goes in the arc, and you can use it in the air for the jumping one. So that was a pretty simple one. For the side B, I went for what I called the dual hammer, which I don't know if anyone's played Mario versus Donkey Kong. If you've got with the minis, when you get the hammer power up and they get two hammers and then just like run forward, smacking it one after another for a little bit. That's what I had in mind for this. The Hammer Brother pulls out two hammers and just runs forward, swinging both of them into the ground to knock out. So it sends him on a trajectory forward, but it's quite strong. It's got quite a high priority for this attack. So that's the side B. For the down B, which I'm going to do next, I call it the Sledgehammer. So there's obviously the Sledge Bros, which is just the big, fat, chunky Hammer Bros with the bigger hammers. So that's what I've pulled out for this one, where Hammer Bro pulls out a really big hammer, and you can charge it up. It's kind of like, now that I think about it, Byleth's down B.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
So you just this really big hammer that the Hammer Bro holds over its head and charges up and then swings down with a big bang, and the shockwave can trip up anyone who's close to it as well, which is kind of like the Sumo Bros when they slam the ground when you're near it. So that's what I had. And then the up B, which is kind of the idea I had that just sort of made me want to go ahead with the moveset, is the amazing flying Hammer Bro.
Yeah.
From Super Mario World. So Hammer Bro will jump up slightly and two grey blocks with wings will appear. And then that will rise, and then you can just smash the B button as Hammer Bro just launches loads of hammers left and right to hit anyone below left and right of him. He's obviously vulnerable just directly below, because if you hit the blocks it will knock him down. And but he's also like, the hammers slightly go up, so he's not as vulnerable from the top. But yeah, the idea is that he's just as you slowly rise, you're just launching hammers all over the place.
Speedrunner's worst nightmare.
Yeah. And then for the final smash, I just called it the Bros Armada, where Hammer Bro will knock you into a sort of cutscene, and then you've got all the different various type of bros around, the Fire Bros, the Ice Bros.
All the bros.
All of this, the boomerangs, and they all just throw their items into the middle of the arena to hit everyone. Sumo Bros launching lightning down from below, from above, like.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
So yeah, there's your second Mario mob.
There you go.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Before Dixie Kong, before Bandanity, we'll get a second member of the
Hammer
gang.
Bro.
So yeah, Hammer Bro was my choice. I quite like the idea.
That's a really good one. I had two thoughts for that right away. The first was that in the same way that we said back when Pizza Dude did Bandana Waddle Dee that the announcer would just say Waddle Dee. I love the idea that the announcer just goes, bro!
All the bros.
And then the second thing is because the hammer is pretty small, so I figured that the Hammer Bro like character with just normals and stuff would have to be like pretty close range and like fast and strong, but they just have like no like reach at all.
Yeah, the hammer's a powerful move. I mean, it's like Hammer Bros are always like one of the strongest Mario enemies. But you're right, range would definitely be on the lower end of thing. It's hard to have it like, I don't want them to throw the hammer for the neutrals because that's what the special does.
Right.
So everything has to be a spin with the hammer, or just like a jab combo with the hammer, or the grab, like they just grab with one hand and hit with the hammer on the other hand, like bludgeon them. The actual hammer size, I think, would just have to be one of those balancing things where, okay, it's a bit too close, so we'll make the hammer like slightly bigger than it's meant to be.
Yeah. That's the thing is
to
like
be able to
This
hit.
one got a special
Well,
hammer.
the thing
It's
is, like,
okay.
if you did like a Mario thing where like the hammer changes sizes for certain moves, like maybe he uses like the bigger hammer from like Mario Baseball, or I don't know.
Yeah, like there are ways to do that, but you're right. I think it would be much shorter range. And then the hammer throw, it's got the same sort of arc that Simon Belmont's does, but whereas Simon Belmont's axe, you can only do one, the Hammer Bro, you can throw multiple. Just depends on how many times you hit the B button. There'd probably be a limit of like 3 or 4.
Right.
But you can just throw a bunch of hammers and then jump and throw a few more hammers. Just to play keep away.
That's a super good one. I like the generic mob as fighter.
I do
it's
too.
good.
It's amazing how much potential there is in characters like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Got to do a mob episode at some point.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's on the
That's
list.
not a
As
bad
theme.
idea.
Yeah. Hammer Bro is taken though now.
I'll be
Well,
doing
yeah.
New Age retro hippie. So
Yeah, no, that's on there, so perhaps we'll get there. But we're not there now. So,
My show.
but no, that's a good one for sure. And I think even if he did stay fairly close range, I think compared to other close range people like the like fighting game people, I think Hammer Bro could make up for that in a little more movement. Just had like a really good jump. And just be like a little quicker than those guys.
Yeah.
What if when he's moving, what if when he's throwing his hammers, he can move back and forth?
I think
Yeah,
makes sense,
yeah, that could definitely work if you
either that or at least jump, because I mean that's like
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
what the character is.
Jumping would be a part of it. You can jump while throwing a hammer. You can press the B button while midair to throw it for whatever height you are.
Yeah.
like that's kind of the few things that the Hammer Bros do are jump and throw hammers, and
There we go.
both at the same time.
But
so you got to
I
have
also
that.
feel like just his walk is him like hopping around too, right? Like his
that
idol,
might
he's
be.
always kind of hopping.
that'd be funny.
She's got a really good short hop.
Yeah.
That brings us to Pizza Dude.
Pizza time.
All right. So I went with a character with the same name as me. So I went with Isaac. No, I mean, God, Isaac is like one of the biggest request I ever got to do a moveset for. And so I made an entire moveset for Isaac like a long time ago and then never did a video on it. So here it is.
Exclusive.
Now, Isaac is a sword wielder, deal with it. And a lot of his normal moves are using his sword. But, like, I don't know. What I put in was, like, you take a lot of, references and this and that from different animations in the game, though the first 2 Golden Sun doesn't have many animations. But, like, the dash attack is like, what the regular attack looks like is the jump attack. I did the neutral attack as kind of take the animation of the blade dance attacks from the 3rd Golden Sun game. Maybe include a rapid jab that's kind of like the claw attacks. And then, a couple other references here and there to different synergies. Some of the ones that you have that use your sword, like, the up aerial has an animation that kind of looks like the death plunge, and the down aerial has an animation that looks like the helm splitter. Now, although there is a lot of sword moves just within the regular attacks, I also have included, of course, just regular synergy moves within the attacks, specifically mostly with the smash attacks. So when you use forward smash, it's actually Ragnarok. So you do like a big and kind of normal looking giant like sword swing forward, but while you're charging it, a giant like energy sword appears in the air and then stabs diagonally downward, kind of like when you're using Odyssey, into the ground in front of you. So not only are you hitting with your actual sword, you're hitting with a giant energy sword that starts diagonally above you and then stabs forward and downward. So like if someone's a little too far away with you, you can hit them with the energy sword, or if someone's right in front of you, you can hit them with your sword and then they get hit with the energy sword right afterwards.
Nice.
Up smash is based on Gaia. Isaac lifts his hands up, and then you basically get surrounded by rocks as they go spiraling upward. So it kind of hits all around you. And then the down smash is Quake, which has two, like, basically just pillars of stone pop out of the ground to both sides of you, and it knocks opponents upward. And then some of the other regular moves do like a little bit of elemental stuff, like, oh, the neutral aerial is, you know, kind of like Spire. You get just some rocks that surround you and drop off, or like, oh, the up tilt is just you put your hand in the air and you have like a blast of yellow representing Earth. All earthy moves, because Isaac is a Venus adept who used the element of Earth. However, in Golden Sun, even you can give the characters Jin that don't correlate with their own element, and they get new types of synergy, and that is utilized in Isaac's neutral special. By default, when you start a match with Isaac, you are equipped with Flint, who is a Venus Jin. But by pressing the B button, you can swap between Flint and then also like Fever, Gust, and Sleet, and get different elements. And when you do that, it changes your smash attacks to new things represented not just by those elements, but specifically what spells Isaac gets access to when he equips those elements. Oh. So when you equip the Mars Jin, which is the Fire Jin, to Isaac, then his forward smash instead of Ragnarok becomes Condemn. So it still, for Isaac, looks like a regular forward sword swing. But instead of a giant energy sword, a giant Grim Reaper with a scythe appears and swings with you. Oh. And that has a totally different effect.
That sounds like an amazing visual.
Yeah,
it's interesting when you equip fire to Isaac, he gets some fire abilities, but then he mostly gets like plant and death and ghost abilities.
I guess the opposite of life is death.
Yeah, so that's what you get here. So the way Condemn works as opposed to Ragnarok is, well, Ragnarok is more or less just a big 2-hit forward smash. Condemn does very, very little knockback and just average damage for a forward smash, but it comes with a scythe effect like Smash Brothers. So if the opponent's already above 100%, then Condemn does a ton of knockback, even if it's not charged that much.
Oh.
For a minute there, I thought you were going to say it kills them.
No, it's not. They can still bounce around.
It's not that good.
That's terrifying.
And then the up smash instead of Gaia becomes Growth. So instead of getting surrounded by rocks that spiral upward, instead vines grow out of the ground and just start whipping all around, which like rapidly combo strikes opponents while sending them upward. And then the down smash instead of Quake becomes Blast. Instead of 2 pillars of stone, Isaac just makes explosions on either side of him and then just blasts opponents away. And then the neutral aerial, instead of rocks surrounding you, it becomes Haunt, and so little ghosts surround you for the neutral aerial. And like I said, the other effects of other moves change a little bit. Alternatively, rather than Mars, you could use the B button to equip Jupiter, which is Wind. When you do that, the forward smash becomes Thundermine. So you, instead of a giant sword or a Grim Reaper, as you use the forward smash, you also launch a large ball of electricity, which is incredibly low moving. But if it does hit an opponent, it like kind of hits them in place for a little bit with a rapidly striking electric move. So it's a projectile, but an incredibly slow-moving one. It's like very slow. Mm-hmm. The up smash becomes Punji. Stalks of bamboo pop out of the ground, and it's just a very simple, more straightforward up smash that just knocks opponents up with the sharp stalks of bamboo. And then down smash becomes Thunderclap. Just blast of thunder on each of their side, pushes opponents away, very straightforward. It doesn't like blast out like Blast or knock them up by Quake. It just gets sent outward. And then like the neutral aerial effect is shuriken instead, because for some reason when Isaac equips wind, he gets access to the ninja class. Earth and wind makes ninja. Obviously. Duh.
Science.
And then, of course, the last one is Mercury. With the neutral special, you can also equip Mercury, which gives you access to water-y abilities. The forward smash becomes cutting edge. Instead of a giant sword or a Grim Reaper or a giant ball of electricity, Isaac just makes kind of a normal-looking kind of sword energy wave, like Cloud doing his neutral special. So it just becomes a rangier forward smash. Doesn't get any more powerful, just gets rangier. Weaker than the Ragnarok, but you shoot a little wave. Up smash becomes Thorn, which is a bit like Growth, but instead of flailing vines, they're just still vines that are really, really spiky. So they don't send opponents away, just if any opponents are nearby, they get stabbed and pushed away. And then the down smashed becomes Frost. So instead of pillars of stone, it's pillars of ice that knock the opponents up. It has an ice effect. And the neutral aerial becomes Froth, so you get surrounded with bubbles rather than ghosts or shuriken or rocks. Also, what I was thinking with this moveset is call back to the first episode of Ready Moveset Go, where like your normal moves take on slightly different properties depending on what element you have equipped, where Venus is straightforward, Mars gives you a fire effect that makes your attacks a little more powerful, but less knockback. Mercury gives them a water effect, which gives them a little more knockback, but less power. And then the wind is a special thing where it rapidly strikes opponents, so the longer an animation is, the more damage you do. So I thought it'd be fun to bring back that idea. Now, the up special is very simple. It's just retreat. It's how you escape dungeons in Golden Sun. It's kind of like a teleport, like Mewtwo's, but it lasts longer. Isaac dissolves into a bunch of spheres of elemental energy that fly upward and then reassemble. So the opponent is able to telegraph where you're going to be because they can watch where the orbs are going to, depending on where you're moving with the joystick. But the flip side is that you get a longer duration of invulnerability. So give and take. Meanwhile, the side special, it's a little bit different depending on which element you have equipped, but basically it's just a sword hit. Imagine it's like Captain Falcon's Falcon Punch, but it doesn't do like the high damage or the high knockback. It's just a very simple sword hit with not as long of an animation, but an animation. It has a bit of an animation, and then you hit him with your sword with the element you have equipped.
Kind of like a Hatchet Man, maybe.
A bit like that, yes. The special thing about the move, though, is, once again, copying Golden Sun's mechanics, is when you hit somebody with this sword attack that correlates with your element, you get, as it appears on Isaac's stock symbol, you get a summoning sphere, which is used for your down special, Summon. For here, you can simplify it a little bit from how Golden Sun works. When you collect summoning spheres, you can hold a maximum of 4, and then depending on which element you currently have equipped, you summon different creatures that you can actually summon in Golden Sun. Now, I'm sticking it to just Golden Sun 1's summons, because Golden Sun 2 has like all these fusion summons, and you get like dozens of possibilities, and that's a little complex. Here, you have basically a selection of summons that just kind of like the Duck Hunt dog with his cowboys, you just get like the actual like Golden Sun 16-bit sprites of the summons that appear in the original Golden Sun that you can then just summon right then and there. They do an attack and then they leave. Of course, the more powerful summons take more summoning spheres, and you'll just always use all the summoning spheres you have when you use the summon attack. So all the summons are just rolled into one special move that you collect by using the side B to collect the summoning spheres, and the summon you use is dependent on which Jin you currently have equipped. And that's Isaac. The final smash is Megiddo. He flies out and shoots a giant meteor down on everybody.
Nice.
Yay.
No, it's a good one. It's I mean, I can clearly tell that you know a good bit about Golden Sun.
Yeah.
So I don't really have much to challenge. The only thing I'm surprised about, again, not knowing Golden Sun really myself, is there's no big hand move.
Oh, sorry.
that was the
I
one
forgot to
thing
mention
I
that.
was going to bring up.
That's the
Where's
grabs and
move?
throws. That's the grabs and throws. My bad. Forgot to catch it.
Okay.
Grab is catch, pummel is squeeze, forward throw is move, back throw is scoop, up throw is lift, down throw is
I
pound.
was going to say, it's like Isaac's like iconic move.
In Smash Brothers.
The big hand. I don't know. I feel like in Golden Sun, it's like the first psi energy you sort of
That's
learn.
true. That's true. No, yeah, I put all the utility psi energy into his grabs and throws, which I forgot to talk about.
I kind of figured that at least the grab would be that, but okay, good, because I was when you said side special wasn't move, I was like, wait, what?
Yeah. No, I just put move as his forward throw.
Okay.
Gotcha, that makes sense.
Yeah. I also like how most of the whole magic key kind of stuff are on his smash attacks, so you can have the special moves be those other things that aren't usually talked about. Like, obviously, immediately, at least personally, I first thought of like Smash Flash Isaac, and I'm like,
Same.
you know, like, oh, the pretty magic stuff, that's cool, you love magic, it's gonna be kind of like Robin, but a little different, and then you're like, no. I'm like, oh, okay, that's cool too. Oh, that's great.
I do appreciate the different take on Isaac and actually being able to equip all of the different Jin, because I feel like that's like the main thing that makes Golden Sun stand out compared to other JRPGs.
And I think that's really overlooked in Isaac movesets.
Yeah, it's just because most people don't really think how it would work because it's a menu thing.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, no, it's you can have like character arts and all stuff. We've got plenty of menu-based attacks. I mean, look at Hero,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Yeah, especially now.
There's no reason why we can't have one where Isaac is hot swapping between different elemental Jins
Yeah.
to represent all the magic of Golden Sun.
Yeah, if you said this in the first episode, I'd be like, but now nothing. Just do whatever you want.
Now anything goes.
Yeah.
That's right.
It's definitely it is tough for me, like as to balance just purely in a moveset way, because I did very similar with I just made a moveset for Zagreus from Hades. The boons are kind of similar to what you were describing, but it is always like, while making moveset, I do always question, it's like, should this be something that you can like go between, or should it be spread throughout like different parts of the moveset and be like represented by like singular moves? And that's always, I think, the challenge for me is, it's like, what feels more Smash, or like what or at the very least what feels less like I'm just trying to shove everything about this character in.
Yeah, there's certainly a balancing point to get. Like you got to know when to cut off what's being represented sometimes. But I feel like, at least in this case, it makes sense because it's not like every single absolute move is going to be represented by a different spell in Golden Sun, because then you have to come up with like 4. I know it's all the same. What I think I like about it is that Isaac himself, all of his animations are the same.
Right.
But it's the element around it that changes.
Exactly.
And I think that's the thing. I see a lot of people who make movesets where, this one attack changes up what all the other attacks do. They like basically come up with 4 movesets and just assign it to one character.
Yeah.
And that's never what it's going to be. They're always going to find ways to get around development. You got to think of balancing and all the time and energy to make all of the different characters to model. So to have it just Isaac have the one consistent look throughout, and then it's all just either pick up this attack or this attack, like as it's an extra. I think that always makes a lot more sense. It's a lot more down to earth.
Right, because no matter what element you have equipped here, he's doing the same animations. It's just what giant entity is behind me as I'm charging up my forward smash.
Yeah, it's also easier for people who like are playing against Isaac. You can sort of tell, because I feel like a thing with changing movesets is they don't really consider the fact that players who are against Isaac have to be able to sort of understand his moveset and predict it. And if you've got 4 different movesets and you can't tell which one he's using at which time, it can be like super unpredictable for people.
I gotta fight Isaac in tournament. Let me get the manual.
Exactly.
Is it Earth
Whereas at least
Isaac
if you
or
know what
Wind
his hitboxes are going to be and what his animation is going to be, it doesn't matter which one he's got out. You know how to dodge it. It's just the effect it's going to have, the after effect of being hit by it, that you need to be concerned about.
Yeah, being able to read like what moves look like is very important in a game like this.
Yeah.
But I can't blame people for, coming up with those kind of movesets because honestly, the last 3 characters we've got for Smash have drastically changed what people think could and couldn't work in a Smash moveset.
Oh yeah,
yeah,
like
for
with
sure.
Steve and
Yeah, like Steve having a special that's 3 moves in one.
They've continued to push it, which is also fun, and yeah, like you said, it's hard to blame anyone for wanting to get as much as they can represented in any moveset. Because it's also at what point do you have all this awesome stuff in one special, but then a lot of the normals are just kind of fairly standard and pulled from normal Smash animations. That's where I get caught up a couple times. It's should F Smash just be a big sword slash, or should I make it one of these fancier things?
Right, yeah.
And that's the tough part. But yeah, Smash movesets are crazy now anyway. So
I have a feeling they're gonna get even crazier.
Yeah, we still got 3 more to go.
Yep.
Fingers crossed.
Out of curiosity, what backups did people have?
well, I guess real quick, since say PK, did you have any ideas for this, or did you willingly step aside?
Yeah, I wanted to do Moon. No, I'm kidding. I mean, okay, I would have probably done Skull Kid because I love Skull Kid, but at the same time, maybe Ashley, because 1, WarioWare is fun, 2, her song's amazing. So yeah, I would have wanted to look more into that. But otherwise, I mean, there are the obvious ones that you guys are probably gonna also mention. So I'll leave you to that.
Actually was one of my backups just because I'd already made a moveset for it years ago. So I was just I'm just going to pull, last minute I was just in case, I'll have this one on the side just so that I'm not caught with my trousers down.
Yeah, actually, I think all the movesets I had were ones I did years ago. Isaac was one, and then I had...
You guys are cheating.
And then I had Excite Biker as a backup. And then while we were going through, I was what if someone picks both Isaac and Excite Biker? And I'm oh wait, I got my Tingle moveset still. And so
my other main backup, because actually was my third one, was Sheriff.
Oh.
From Sheriff.
That'd be cool.
Nice.
Which was an idea for a moveset I came up with a while ago and then just never released. Where it's a big sort of mainly Sheriff, but tried to get references to other Nintendo arcade games, kind of like how Duck Hunt references the Zappa games.
That's smart. That's a rare era right there.
Yeah, so some of the basic ones is the pistol for the neutral B, and up B I called Buckaroo, where his horse appears and launches him up, the game Buckaroo.
That's great.
Oh, okay.
And then his final smash would drop opponents into the actual Sheriff arena with all the bandits around, and then they'd all charge and shoot in to reference the actual arcade game itself. But then other stuff would be his down B would be a reflector, but it would be Breakout, the ball bouncing game. So you'd have this reflector and left and right, and it sort of spins around the Sheriff, and it will reflect projectiles that hit it, but it will bounce, depending on where it's angled, it will bounce, instead of hitting the projectile straight back, it will bounce it in a different direction. So if you have it slightly angled and it's hit by a fireball, the fireball then bounce up into the air, as opposed to just going straight back.
Right.
And you can just spin that around. And then the side B I called Firebird, which is a reference to the game Firebird, where the Sheriff will put his hand out and there'll be a falcon on it, but it's actually a Firebird from one of those games, and it will fly forward and drop loads of flames as it goes past. I thought there's a reference to the bird that's in Sheriff. I guess you could say cool cowboys have bird companions.
Sure.
And it being a Firebird is both a reference and a lot cooler than it just being a regular old falcon.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was my backup moveset.
I like it.
Yeah, so mine, my way back ones that I didn't even develop were Shovel Knight, but I just haven't played the game enough to do it well. And then Shadow, there's a lot to pull from and really highly requested, but again, I just wasn't sure how fully I could do it. So my main backup that I actually did a moveset for was Ray Mark III from Custom Robo.
Oh, nice.
I played the GameCube and the DS one as a kid, and in preparation I rewatched some GameCube footage. He'd be really cool, but honestly I feel I kind of just wish the assist trophy was back, because I feel that does do it fairly well.
Oh, I forgot the assist trophy wasn't even back. Oh,
Yeah, they just made him a Mii costume instead.
Yeah.
well, I guess that's okay.
I mean, not that Custom Robo's doing anything nowadays, sadly.
For some weird, dumb reason.
Yeah.
Maybe they should have released more than the DS game in Europe, outside of America.
Oh, did you guys not get the GameCube one?
No, we never got the GameCube
That
one.
sucks. That one's so good.
That's a good one, yeah. The thing is, it's like Ray Mark 3 would be a tough one because it's like you need to keep him small. Like he would definitely be smaller. I think he'd be smaller than Alamar.
Sure.
But he'd be like really fast, be like amazing in the air, but just be really light. So he would be like hard to fight, but also hard to play as. But also like if you're playing Ray Mark 3 and you get hit at like 50 by like DDD or something, you might die.
yeah.
It's fine if you're playing as Hand and Fly Swatter. Then it's easy to take out.
But the other tough thing is that so much of a custom robo gameplay is it like homes in on the person you're fighting. So the way I kind of had done it was like a lot of the neutrals were just using the standard gun, and it homed a little bit, but it was kind of like Mega Man, where you can like move and shoot at the same time, and that's kind of the whole thing. And you have like decent range, like a Pikmin throwing range. And then I was just using so many other guns. I originally didn't want to because the robos do have like some other moves, but I kind of had to develop the moveset, which is why I didn't ultimately go for it first.
Okay.
So like there was like up smash was like the ray fall where the gun shoots straight up and then it stays in the air and then homes downwards towards whoever's closest, that kind of thing. And then real quick through the specials, the neutral B was the dragon because it's just ridiculously powerful. And it's like just this slow moving huge fire dragon. Side B is your bomb, just kind of lobs a bomb. Up B is the dash, which is kind of like a combination of a Star Fox side B and a Banjo side B. And then down B is pod, which is it shoots these two little like slow moving homing torpedoes that kind of chase the person down.
Yeah.
So that was my backup. It was just like the base concept of like a really small thing with like incredible movement but could die pretty easily I liked. But then just like a lot of the attacks I was like not as excited about as Squid Sisters.
All right.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
How about you, Felicia? What did you have backups?
Well, I poured basically all my effort into one backup because I was so sure that nobody was going to choose it. And thankfully I was right.
Yeah.
Okay.
My backup character was Mother Brain.
Ooh.
Nice.
Oh.
And I also drew a concept of a design that basically combines both Zero Mission and Super Metroid.
Oh, wow.
I felt that giving her the Super Metroid mouth was very important to giving her a bit more expression.
Yeah.
But basically, Mother Brain would occupy this mobile capsule, has hover jets, can summon different weapons and stuff from inside, and basically it has a window on the front that will open and close when she fires her eye laser.
Nice.
I am also guilty of having this be a moveset that I did like years ago. But basically her mechanic is called combat analysis. And basically, since she's an AI that had her eyes everywhere in Zebus, she basically uses this to find weaknesses in her opponent's strategies. And she attacks her opponent with various projectiles. She builds up analysis, and at max level, her eye beam turns into the rainbow beam from Super Metroid, and basically becomes a incredibly powerful like stock closer. I basically built her with the same mechanic as MODOK from Marvel vs. Capcom 3.
Oh, yeah.
Where he would drop analysis cubes, and if the more analysis cube hits you landed on your opponent, it would build up his psionic blaster. But yeah, standard special would be the eye beam. Actually, wait, before I get to that, I should also mention she has an extra mechanic is like in Metroid, if you break the glass, she will take extra damage.
Yeah, it's a good one.
Yeah, standard special is the eye beam. It's a multi-charge beam that will deal more damage depending on both how long you charge it and how much combat analysis you have on your opponent. Side special is energy wall, which is basically those walls that you have to use missiles to break when getting to Mother Brain in Turian. And you can destroy it normally with just melee attacks, but if you hit it with energy projectiles, it will destroy it faster, but also greatly increase Mother Brain's combat analysis. So it's a double-edged sword. Up special would basically be the jets installed in the bottom of the capsule. She launches herself upwards as she surrounds herself in an electrical barrier. And down special would summon Rinkas that would circle around her and basically act as like an extra shield in case anybody gets close. The basic idea of how I want her moveset to play is turn the stage into her room from Turian. Set up energy walls, sit at the edge of the stage, and fire projectiles from across the stage.
That's really cool. I like it.
Yeah, that's a great one. Plus, it's like a Metroid rep that I'd like never hear brought up.
Yeah, I don't know. It's kind of
still
like
super cool.
It's like how you never hear people talk about like having Andross playable. Like, why not?
Yeah.
And of course, her final smash would be her monster form from Super Metroid.
Yeah, makes sense.
See, with Andross, you could just be like, he really is just like a giant floating head. But because that's all he is, like, he's a big character, but he's not like too big. And so you're just playing as a big floating head, and like the hands are off to the sides and the foreground and the background of the stage, and so they don't get in the way. Mm-hmm. It'd be great.
So what you're actually predicting is now that there's like the Creeper and Pygmy costumes, there's going to be an Andross costume where you're just a giant head and hands.
I'd pay for it.
Yeah, it's a me brawler, Andross.
Oh God.
But yeah, no, that's it. Mother Brain would be an awesome one.
That'd be great. And then I like the idea of her being like MODOK. And that would just go so perfectly if you gave her voice from Captain N.
Oh, God. Oh, dear God. But yeah, other than Mother Brain, the other character that I had as a backup that I didn't flesh out nearly as much was Dr. Wily.
Okay, yeah. I forgot he was an assist. Whoops.
Basically, his mechanic would be he'd be operating a Wily machine, custom made, and I think it would be very important to have it based on a Wily machine where you can actively see Wily in the cockpit.
Yeah.
So the one that I used as the base, basically I used the one from Mega Man The Power Fighters 2, which is basically just a giant skull. And I basically added elements from Wily machines from 4, 11, 10, and otherwise. But basically it walked on like spider legs. And once you hit 100%, the Wily machine would be destroyed and you'd be fighting as Capsule Wily.
Oh, okay.
Which would dramatically increase your speed, but your weight is cut in half. Basically you're fighting as a boss for half of the fight, but once you lose your shell, quote unquote, you're basically stuck fighting as this really quick, really powerful fighter. But if you get hit, you're practically going to die. Mm-hmm. That's which is basically how the Wily capsule was always designed to be, unless you're playing Mega Man 7.
That's funny, just because it's like the exact opposite of how I approached the mech moveset in our mech episode. I had you like start weak and then you build up the super strong. But I think that is also also a super fun way to do it too.
Yeah, and then his clapping animation could be the I'm sorry bow.
Yep, that's actually perfect. He could also be used as a taunt.
Yeah,
he summons a robot of himself, and if the opponent hits the robot, like it has like the Jack in the Box head that flies off.
Oh yeah.
Now I'm just scrolling through the assist trophy page on the website just to see who people would be most angry about if we don't bring up.
Man.
I mean, there's like
Waluigi.
Waluigi's the main one.
I mean, yeah. I already did a Waluigi video, so I didn't think about it.
Yeah, Waluigi's too easy. So's like Takamaru, even if he's my most wanted character.
God, I want Takamaru. Why isn't he playable?
To satiate the hunger of the people that want Waluigi, I can at least offer a character mechanic that I came up with a few months ago for Waluigi.
Sure. Well, yeah. Well, let's close on that. Then.
All right. So a lot of the other Mario characters have move sets that are basically built upon their personalities. Like Mario is the everyman. He's good at a lot of things, but he doesn't really excel at anything, which is why he's a very all-rounder character in basically everything he's in.
All right.
Luigi, he's only good at very specific things, but he's not good at anything else, which is why his main strengths are grabbing, his aerials are really fast, and he can jump really high. Wario, he's a greedy guy, so basically his moveset is he wants things quick, so his attacks are all very choppy and fast. Waluigi is the epitome of a sore loser.
Okay.
So basically what happens is if Waluigi falls too far behind his opponent in percentage, he'll enter like a new mode, like Sephiroth's wing mode. And basically what happens is all of his specials would gain new attributes. So for example, if his standard special was like a tennis serve, he'd be able to serve the tennis ball, but also a Waluigi eggplant that would explode for poison damage.
He just starts cheating when he's
I'm
losing.
losing.
That's a good one.
And one thing that I thought of that it's so inconsequential, I don't know why I did, but basically, you know how when two moves collide, they have the potential to null each other out?
Yeah.
Well, basically, if Waluigi gets into if he and his opponent trade moves and they nullify each other out, Waluigi does a counterattack.
He just like
pretty unique.
stretches his
I
leg,
like
does a
that.
little long kick, just
I love that. That's such a unique little thing that also like so in character kind of just like breaking the game. Like, oh, what? This is like a rule you guys have? No, sorry.
That's good.
Oh yeah.
Very good movesets, everyone. I'm glad we all picked very different characters.
yeah.
But yeah, so just to start wrapping things up, I guess I'll go first. I don't have anything too exciting going on right now. Still just working on doing a new review format, working on some music. Nothing too crazy that I want to point out right now. I guess if you haven't watched my Zagreus moveset, go watch that because I like that.
Please do, it's good.
Oh, thank you. FeliciaFan.
Twitter, YouTube, they're all under the same name. If it doesn't have my icon, then it's not me. I've basically just been working on Smash Moveset videos. I'll have a new one out by the time this is out. I can't say who I'd be working on by the time this video comes out. It's a surprise. But yeah, basically just doing Smash Moveset videos, taking care of my commission backlog. Nothing too new. It's yeah.
Nanten.
Yeah, go subscribe to Source Gaming. As always, I think by the time this video comes out, our Brawl video should be out. Looking at the characters in Brawl.
Nice.
So go watch that, and then go watch the Melee ones and the Smash 64 ones. And I'll be working on the cut characters from Brawl video, which will be good. And then by that point, I think I'm halfway through, because then it's up to Smash 4, which is exciting stuff.
All right.
Yeah.
Pizza.
And I'm PizzaDudeManGuy.
Wow, it's really him.
Yep.
I wasn't sure this whole time until he said it.
Yeah.
It was a fake
before.
before, so.
And PK.
Yeah, PK King. I'm the Rivals of Aether guy. Load it, and I make characters rivals mod. English. There is a blueprint strike on the 15th. I think this will be out before then. So if you're interested, go to my channel and learn more. Go to Zeta's channel, and you could see a big hour-long direct of Rivals of Aether workshop stuff. And I will have stuff in there, and it will be very, very cool. Yeah.
Looking forward to it.
All right. Well, with that, thank you for watching. Make sure like and subscribe. Go check out all these guys' channels and all the awesome stuff that they make. And thanks for watching. See you next time.
Bye.
Bye.